In our day, many men have been impacted by less than adequate fathering in their background. It could range anything from absentee fathering, your dad wasn't there very much, to on the other end of the spectrum, if he was there a lot but it was abusive, to you had a weak father, to maybe no father at all in the home. But what psychologists call the father wound has impacted about 70%, 7 out of 10 men in America or in all Western culture have been impacted by what psychologists call the father wound. Guys, if you're one of them, I want to share with you today 5 keys to becoming not just forgiving your dad and moving beyond that, but 5 keys to becoming a very powerful man by dealing with this father wound and moving on to become the man that you were created to be. Welcome back, everybody. I'm David Long, and this is The Mountain Man. Guys, this is the channel where we help good men do great things, first in here, then in our family, then out in the culture. And guys, today we're talking about in here because the elephant in the room, or the dirty little secret of Western culture, is that so many men have been impacted by fatherlessness, and it's talked about some, but it's not talked about enough, and often the right solutions are not given. So guys, today I'm going to share with you 5 things. I'm actually an author on this topic. I wrote a book a number of years ago called A Call to Manhood in a Fatherless Society. You can get copies on Amazon. I'll put a link below. You can get copies from us. And it might be a helpful book for you. But guys, these are research-based answers, 5 key ideas for you to move beyond the wound that you got from your dad and your upbringing and become a powerful man. Number 1 is you're going to start the process of forgiveness. You say, David, why would I start the process? Why wouldn't I just forgive him? In fact, many men would say, I have already forgiven my dad and I've moved beyond that. What else you got? Well, guys, I'm going to tell you something. Generally speaking, forgiveness is never a one and done idea. And I want to explain why. Let me lay a little foundation. I mentioned this in a recent video on reviving the warrior spirit, and I'll put a link at the end to that video and put a link down below as well. But guys, I want to remind you of something. You're made in 3 parts. You're made mind, body, and emotions. The Bible calls it body, soul, and spirit. But just think of it as mind, where you make decisions, body, which is your body, and your emotions, what the Bible calls the soul. Now, unforgiveness or pain or anger comes out of that realm called the emotions. So when you decide in your mind, which should be the boss of these 3 circles, if you could think of 3 circles, mind, emotions, and body, if you think of these 3 circles, the mind's supposed to be the boss of the other 2. But often the pain that's in the emotions is so strong that it kind of usurps the mind and it becomes the boss of the 3. So we want to make a decision in our mind, and we want to strengthen our mind, but we want to make a decision, but the soul has got to respond to that. And often the father wound is not something that the soul or the emotion is willing to give up just like that. Often for men it takes months, sometimes a year, sometimes 2 years, depending on the pain and depending on how strong your spirit or your mind is, okay? But we do want to start that process. We want to consciously say, okay, I am going to forgive my dad. I am going to will my emotions to obey me. Now, there's going to be an internal battle going on when you're doing that, but over time, the emotions will settle down. So every time your dad's name comes to mind, somebody mentions it, you see a picture, or for whatever reason, and you feel that little twinge of pain, that's the time to say to your emotions, no, we, body, soul, and spirit, we're going to forgive. We're going to let that go. He doesn't owe us anything. We're going to move beyond that. Because if you don't, bitterness sets in, and it really can destroy your life. So the first thing is we're going to start the process of forgiveness. Gentlemen, the second thing we're going to do is we're going to start the process of incorporating good men, and we're going to start looking for at least one good man to incorporate into our life. And as you might suspect, we're going to look to play the role a little bit that father did not play or hurt us. We're going to look for a father figure. So now let's define what's a good man. What kind of man are we looking for to incorporate into our life? And I actually suggest that you build 5 men. I have a video coming soon, so that's why you have to subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and hit that button right now, the notification, and give it a thumbs up. But I have a video I'm working on right now. It'll be out in maybe 2 or 3 weeks called The 5 Big Men You Need in Your Life, and I'm going to pull this topic apart more in that video. But for purposes of today, this is one of the 5 keys. So you're going to look for incorporating a good man into your life, okay? What's a good man? A good man is a man who has success in his family and his personal life. He's not addicted to anything, essentially. He's a man who rules over his body and his emotions from the strength of his mind or his spirit. He's got success with his children. He's got success in his marriage, probably success in his vocational life as well. But he's a good man. He's kind. He's patient. He's strong. And as I said, I'll give you more information on that in that video coming up. But you want to look to incorporate a man, and it ideally should be an older man, a strong man, a secure man. And if you're young enough, if you're under like 40, it should be someone who's got a 20-year age gap, ideally. It doesn't have to be, but you want to have someone who will let you have a little access to their life, maybe even work with them, recreate with them. And this is going to be something that you're going to embrace over a long period of time, and you're going to hope that they're going to affirm you and strengthen you. More on that topic to come. And gentlemen, the third thing that we're going to do is we're going to pursue the concept of sonship. Now, sonship is one of those, and I put a video out, and I'll put that link below too. I put a video out long ago called The 5 Big Things Your Father Should Have Given to You. One of them was the environment where you could learn sonship. Now, sonship is a precursor to leadership or fatherhood. You've got to become a successful son if you're going to go on in life and become a successful leader. And you're going to want to learn this because to be a good dad to your children, to be a good husband to your wife, to be a good employee at work, to be a good man anywhere in society, you have to learn the principles of sonship. So sonship defined is the idea of making a father figure successful. So guys, ideally in this relationship I talked about under point 2, ideally in this relationship you're going to find a man who lets you work on making him successful, whatever projects he's working on. Ideally, maybe you could even work in his same workplace, but you're gonna work for his success is your focus. Now you say, okay, I don't have that relationship yet. Is there anything else I can do? Yes, you can do this at work. And I have a video on that topic too, the keys to advancing at work. I'll put that link down below as well. But guys, the principle applies wherever you go. You want to focus on the success of others. So let's say you're an employee at work. Let's say you're a supervisor. You can practice it there because the people that are under you, so to speak, under your supervision, you're going to focus on their success. That's what a father would do. But your supervisor, the bosses, you're going to focus on their success. That's what a son should do. And number 4, gentlemen, you're going to embrace and pursue what I just call the stuff of manhood. You're like, wow, that's pretty generic. Yeah, the stuff of manhood, if you think about, if you were to grow up on a farm with your father and he was a healthy, strong man, and you worked a lot together with him, coming in and out of the house and going out into the fields and out into the barns and working with equipment, working with animals, what are the things that he would have taught you and modeled for you and even overtly spoken about? Now we're talking about things like courage. We're talking about things like endurance. What to do when it's cold and you have a job to finish and you have to press through. We're talking about loyalty. We're talking also about how to treat women, because he would model that and he would talk about it. So all the things that your dad should have taught you in that environment, not the trades, not the things you can learn later in life, but the stuff of manhood, what a boy, what a young man should be learning, you're going to set out to pursue that. You say, okay, how do I do that? Well, this channel obviously is a good place to learn the stuff of manhood. We don't talk about, grooming as much, although I think male grooming is important. We don't talk about fast cars and a lot of other topics that are a lot of other great men's channels. But we talk about the stuff of manhood. We do talk about courage. We do talk about faithfulness. We do talk about how to endure when the going gets tough. We have lots of videos already posted, and we've got a lot more coming about the stuff of manhood. So that's number 4. And gentlemen, number 5, and it's probably the biggest one, and it's probably the most important, but it kind of comes on the end, and that is this. You're going to ask God to help you get healed from the father wound, okay? And you say, well, David, why didn't you just put that up front? Or why don't I just start with that? Why don't you, because for those of you who are believers, who are Christian men, I know it's very popular in the church to think that I'm just going to start there and I'm going to end there. I don't need this sonship. I don't need these other points. I've already started the process of forgiveness. I'm just going to ask God to heal me. Well, God can heal you and God will heal you. But generally speaking, if you think about healing, both in the Bible and you think about healing nowadays, you have to understand God prefers to work through other people. So let's take an example. If you're in a car accident and you've just demolished your leg, like Tiger Woods, you have a bad car accident and you've wiped out your leg, let's say. The first thing that you're going to do if you're conscious, and the first thing others are going to do if they're running down to your vehicle in the ditch, is what? They're going to call 911. Now, you might start praying quickly, but you're not going to just pray. You're going to pray and call 911 if you're able, or somebody else is going to call 911. Now, on the way to the hospital, hopefully somebody's contacted your wife and she's praying and the kids are praying. Yes, everybody's praying, but you're headed for the hospital. Why? Because God chooses mostly to work through others. That's why you weren't born a full mature man of age 30. You were born a child because God chose. He could have you born like Adam was, right, as a mature man, but God chooses to work through your parents to train you and to raise you up. So later in life, if you're broken, God also uses, why? Because He wants us to connect to other people. He wants to use them. He wants to bless them by them helping you, okay? So you're going to ask God to help you. You're going to ask God, what you're doing here is you're going to ask God to breathe on all these efforts that we're talking about, guys. We're going to ask God to help us because we do need His help, and He will help you, but He wants to work through other men to complete this process, okay? So gentlemen, those are my 5 research-based ideas on how you can be healed from the father wound and how you can grow up to be a powerful man. And I say grow up, it doesn't matter if you're already grown up, 30, 40, 50, 60. You need to get healed from the father wound and to become as completely the man that God created you to be as possible. Okay, guys? Thanks for hanging out with me today. Guys, if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, please go ahead and do that now, and also hit the notification and the thumbs up. I appreciate your time greatly. Leave me a comment below on your experience. Or questions you might have that I could help answer. Guys, I appreciate your time today. I'm David. This is the Mountain Men. I hope you'll take these 5 points seriously and build them into your life to become the man God wants you to be.